业主无家可归，他们已经住在烂尾楼里面了，没有电也没有水。
只有每天像这样抬上去。
没办法，我实在是打进来了。但现在这个房子烂尾了。
省吃俭用10来年买的红房，结果烂尾了，吃不敢吃好的，旅游也不敢去旅游。这个房子一烂尾，结果这个婚也没结成，女方那边也不同意。
China's once hyped-up property market is on the decline as China's economy continues to downward spiral. Over the years, a new term has emerged in China, rottentailed buildings. For many people, it's a lifelong nightmare. This delivery man tells the story of how a rottentailed building has ruined his life. Scrimp and save for 10 years to buy the marriage home, but it became rotten-tailed, unfinished. I dare not eat anything good or travel. My marriage fell apart when the home became rotten-tailed. The woman's side rejected the marriage. My parents complained about me for insisting on buying this home. Now the whole family suffers, and all the money went into it. Now we rent and pay the mortgage at the same time. I don't have too many employable skills, so I deliver takeout to make money. I can make a little money this way. Well, I must work hard and can't stay idle. I must stay optimistic and hope it'll eventually be solved in the future. From the video, we learned that the guy bought a flat for his marriage using savings of a decade, but the construction stopped and the building became rotten-tailed. Not only did he lose his marriage, but the whole family's savings were lost. The next video is a similar story where a man bought a home to get married. He is relatively lucky. Here, a lawyer interviewed him. He said unfinished properties are common, and he is very disappointed with the local officials.
You
bought this home for marriage at the time, but because of the unfinished building, you didn't use it. Did your girlfriend have complaints about this?
Of course, she is upset, but she understands my condition. She hasn't complained too much because that's the way it is, so just accept the reality. Here, we'd like to explain the term rotten-tailed buildings. It has become a common phenomenon in China. It refers to real estate projects for which land use and all paperwork have been approved, but the construction has been suspended for more than a year after it starts due to the developer's inability to continue to invest in the project, or because of debt disputes. Real estate developers in China experienced a construction boom over the years, which was driven by debts. Homes sold to the homeowners before completion was a common occurrence. The real estate market has been highly leveraged. It started to decline in 2019. In 2020, the Beijing authorities issued the 3 red lines policy targeting the real estate industry. First, the debt-to-equity ratio excluding advances should not be greater than 70%. Second, the net debt ratio should not be greater than 100%. And third, the ratio of cash to short-term debt should not be less than 1. The 3 red lines were designed to curb the crazy leveraging in the real estate industry. It has consequently led to many developers experiencing financial difficulties or even bankruptcy, as well as difficulties in local government's land finance. It has also triggered a wave of bankruptcies of enterprises, salary reductions of civil servants, and a wave of home buyers stopping making mortgage payments in China. By 2021, China's large real estate developers have fallen into debt distress, resulting in contract breaches and stalled construction. Stalled construction has caused delays in home delivery, creating more and more rotten-tailed buildings. Homeowners of these rotten-tailed buildings have paid the down payment. When developers fail to deliver or the construction stops, homeowners have to pay not only monthly mortgage payments but rent too. As the housing prices in China kept rising in the past few years, the monthly payment was high and often required the savings of the whole family. A netizen said, "Today I read a description. Buying a rotten-tailed home is worse than encountering a fraud. A fraud can only cheat you of all your savings at worst, but buying an unfinished home will not only cost you all your life savings, but also your income for the next 30 years. Another said, "That's why this is the ultimate scheme. One person in Wuhan bought an unfinished Evergrande home and went to look for a lawyer to defend his rights. The lawyer's home became rotten-tailed too, so they both went to court to sue. The judge said he bought a home that was rotten-tailed as well." One can only imagine how the homeowners feel when their hard-earned money is used to buy an unfinished home. Many petitioned in front of the local government, hoping that the problem could be solved. This is a scene on May 30th, 2024. Hundreds of property owners gathered in front of the provincial government to defend their rights. This father who took to the streets to protest a rottentailed building has become a bad guy in his daughter's eyes. Of course, this is the brainwashing by the Communist Party that is imprinted on the children's mind that anyone who protests the government is not a good citizen. We paid all cash. Now a family of 4 is renting, costing about $344. My monthly payment is $1,102. Leaders, I am a legal citizen. It's not easy. My monthly salary is only $964, and my wife's monthly salary is only about $500. I dare not get sick. I dare not see the doctor even if I get sick. I am not crying being poor. I got sick but dared not to go to the hospital. Please stop the mortgage payment first and then finish building the homes. We paid all cash. If I go to the supermarket to buy a bottle of water for $1, I give the clerk $1. If he doesn't give me the water, I will call the police, and the police will say it's his fault. I spent more than $200,000 to buy a flat, and the developer won't build it for me, so they just lie flat and do nothing. They are fine, but when I go out on the street and protest, I have become a thug. Is there any justice? Do you think it's fair? In my daughter's eyes, I'm a bad guy. How am I a bad guy? I don't want to go out on the street. I try to stay alive and be hopeful. I just want to buy a home. I pay the money and you give me the home. I want to buy a bottle of water. I give you money, you give me the water. I'm a legal citizen. Is there anything wrong with what I demand? You have so many excuses. Who took my money? We paid all in cash. Leaders, please help us with mortgage relief. There are many of us here, more than 20,000 people. Please give us a break. This video is the heartbreaking story of a homeowner of an unfinished building who tries to petition the government officials. For homeowners who have no way for justice, they have to come up with a solution that isn't a solution. Really, that is to move into the unfinished flats they bought. This is the scene when many homeowners move into their rottentailed homes. There are no doors, windows, water, or electricity in the buildings, so they can only use curtains to cover the windows. Kunming, the capital city of Yunnan province, is also the worst hit area for rottentailed buildings. On May 25, 2024, the homeowners of an unfinished building posted a video saying that they had come from the rural villages to the city to work and used all their life savings to buy a home. But the construction has fallen apart and they are forced to live in an unfinished building with no water or electricity.
I've been living here for 2 months. I'm a homeowner of a rottentailed building in Kunming. My husband and I came to Kunming from the rural areas to work. We used all our life savings to buy this home. Many of the owners are homeless. They have moved into the unfinished building. There is no electricity or water. We have to carry water up every day. That's all you have?
Yes, we don't know what else to do. There is no water, no electricity.
The pension, the retirement pension, and my parents' money have all been put in this home, but now the home is in a mess.
We have to get it to start building again, and as soon as possible.
Do you still need to get water? There's no water. Just now I went to recharge the batteries. There's no water and no electricity. I cooked radish in the morning.
Is this how, as a laid-off worker, my lifetime of hard-earned money is washed down the drain like this? Since July 2022, people across China have been making declarations that they will no longer make monthly payments to banks for pre-sale properties that have stopped construction for a long time and are in limbo, i.e. many owners of rottentailed properties have chosen to stop paying their mortgages en masse. A movement that is spreading like wildfire to at least 91 cities in China. The central government was so alarmed by the incident that it responded by issuing a policy to guarantee the delivery of homes. But most of the suspended real estate projects haven't resumed, and the Beijing authorities have never announced how many unfinished buildings there are in China. CNBC quoted Nomura's chief China economist Lu Ting as saying, "It is estimated that there are about 20 million unfinished presale homes in China." After the Beijing authorities launched the guaranteed delivery of buildings, the People's Bank of China and the Ministry of Housing and Urban Rural Development followed up with new measures in August 2022. They guided policy banks to introduce measures in the form of special loans from policy banks to promote the so-called construction and delivery of residential projects that are overdue and difficult to deliver. The Beijing authorities' initial designated loans exceeded US $27.5 billion. The central bank subsequently stated that it would launch interest-free loans of more than US $27.5 billion for guaranteed delivery of homes to 6 banks based on the initial loans. A Chinese media report cited industry insiders at the time that the US $55 billion in relief funds would be a drop in the bucket for China's massive real estate market. It echoed findings from Nomura Securities, a Japanese financial services firm. On November 15, 2023, it released a report stating that it would take about $440.6 billion to bring China's unfinished rottentailed buildings to completion. Unfortunately, even if homeowners want to stop mortgage payments, the government and banks have ways to make them pay. Ms. Soon, a manager at one of China's leading real estate companies, told overseas media, "If the owner of an unfinished building doesn't pay, if he has any other assets, he's going to be ordered by the court to pay the debt first, somehow. If you go to work and earn a salary, you will somehow be restricted from spending money." Ms. Soon said, "Banks can restrict you in many ways. First, it can put you on the blacklist so you can't take the high-speed rail or fly in the airplane. There are so many ways to make you suffer, to force you to pay back the money. The government is behind the bank, and the government is an organization of violence, so it's just going to go ahead and do it. What can you do about it?" Ms. Soon said. "For the people, you can't lie flat and do nothing. You have to pay the mortgage." The CCP doesn't do much to help people resolve their problems, so common folks are left to shoulder the pain on their own. This is Guangxi in southwest China. Online sources from mainland China reported that on June 22nd, a new project in Nanning, the capital city of this province, became rotten-tailed. It belongs to the project of guaranteed delivery required by the government. So what happened next? 10 months after its forced delivery, all utilities like gas and internet still haven't been connected. Neither is the fire protection. The basement isn't done either. In the 10 months since the handover, the owners have been living in a tough situation. They have been forced to cook with firewood as they petitioned many different places to no avail. The picture reads, "Gas isn't connected 10 months after the building was delivered. Homeowners stay optimistic and burn wood for cooking." The next picture says, "Dead tree branches are used as firewood." The text on the third picture reads, "Coexistence between modern buildings and primitive cooking over a picnic fire." Look, that woman is cooking over an open fire in front of a modern building. Does it seem comical and pathetic in contrast to the modern building behind her? For Chinese people, owning a home is everyone's dream. Over the past 3 decades, even though housing prices kept on rising, the Chinese people were still enthusiastic about buying a home. They invested almost their entire life savings to buy a home, and they scrimp and save to make the monthly payment. They have elderly parents and young children to support. Imagine the financial stress and the pressure of life. Now that tens of millions of unfinished homes have appeared, each of these unfinished homes is a family savings of generations. Even if the homes cannot be completed, they must continue to pay the expensive mortgage every month. Even if they lose their jobs under the current economic downturn, they still must make repayments every month. They have no way to get any results, and the policies from the Beijing authorities have failed to solve the real problem. In the end, many people have no choice but to move into ramshackle buildings with no water or electricity and continue to struggle with life. This is a bizarre story that is happening in China. A home doesn't bring happiness, but only misery and disaster. That's all for today. Please remember to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Thank you for watching. See you next time.